here in Tampa Bay, Florida, covering the GOP convention here with Lieutenant Governor of the state of Virginia, Bill Bolling. Good to see you, sir.
Well, thank you. Good to be here.
NRA News, headquartered in Virginia. You're talking to a Virginian. Mike, the cameraman's a Virginian. It's like an old Dominion party here.
I think we're taking over here in Tampa. We got front row seats on the floor of the convention, so Virginia's in the news.
You have front row seats. The fact that Virginia is such a battleground state has got to be very exciting because there's going to be so many appearances by the candidates coming through and lots of rallies and lots of excitement. What will it take for Romney Ryan to win Virginia?
Well, we just have to keep getting our message out. Right now the polls are very close. Virginia's a very competitive two-party state, but I feel cautiously optimistic about our chances of winning. I think the undecided voters will break disproportionately our way in the last couple of months of the campaign. I think our message is beginning to resonate. You know, Virginians are concerned about jobs in the economy and the financial foundation of the country and protecting liberty. That's where liberty was born, was in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And ultimately, I think the energy in this race is on our side. Everybody understands that to save the country, we just can't have 4 more years of the failed policies of the Obama administration. It's a defining moment in the nation's history. And if we want the America we leave to our kids and grandkids to be the kind of an America we grew up in, we got to take the country back. And that's really what this election's about.
Talk specifically about sequestration. When we talk about the Pentagon and all the contractors in Northern Virginia, then Hampton Roads, of course, all the bases down there. Talk about the effect on Virginia.
Well, look, we all understand that there's got to be significant reductions in federal government spending. We can't keep spending $1 trillion a year more than we take in. But they have to be smart cuts. They have to be targeted cuts. They have to be balanced cuts. And under sequestration, defense, which makes up only 20% of the budget, gets hit with 50% of the cuts. That doesn't make sense. It's going to make it more difficult for the country to defend itself. But it also, from a parochial standpoint, it's going to have a huge impact on Virginia's economy. The projections are our state could lose 200,000 jobs as a result of these defense cuts, a $10 billion economic impact. So what we're saying to the president is, you know, sit down around the table, let's figure out a smart way to do these cuts that doesn't devastate the nation's ability to defend itself and doesn't devastate Virginia's economy. Unfortunately, what the president's doing right now is he's using sequestration, he's using the military as a pawn in a high-stakes game of poker to try to get Republicans to agree to raise taxes on families and businesses, and that is not the kind of leadership we need right now on this important issue.
Let's move from defending the country to defending oneself. Virginia just dropped the one gun a month law, and gun sales in Virginia are through the roof right now. Talk about the tradition of the Second Amendment and gun ownership in the Old Dominion.
Well, Virginians believe in protecting all of our constitutional rights, and the Second Amendment is an important constitutional right. Virginians take that very seriously. So we're always going to look for ways that we can protect the right to keep and bear arms and make sure that we resist any efforts in our state that would infringe upon that constitutional right. And, you know, certainly to people who like to hunt and enjoy outdoor activities or self-protection, the Second Amendment's important. But even to folks who sometimes think it's not important, I like to say to them, look, if the government can limit your Second Amendment rights, they can limit any of your rights anywhere in the Constitution. So if you believe in the Constitution, you got to protect those rights everywhere, and the Second Amendment is an important one that we intend to protect in our state.
When Governor Bob McDonnell was in the discussion for VP, how did you feel about that? And were you kind of relieved when it was Paul Ryan? You definitely would have been happy for him if he'd gotten it, but you probably would have missed him as governor.
Well, I was all for him getting it. I thought that would have been great because, you know, if he had become vice president, that would have made me governor. Exactly. So I had some self-interest.
Well, that was my next point. Yes, I'll let you. I was going to let you say that.
and he would have done a great job. But Paul Ryan's a great pick. Governor Romney announced Paul Ryan in Virginia. We campaigned with him 4 times already in Virginia. I think he's a great pick. He's a serious leader, understands the need to deal with these serious challenges facing the country today, and say to the American people that, 4 years ago we took a chance, the country took a chance on Barack Obama. They were moved by his lofty rhetoric and his promises of hope and change, but 4 years later the rhetoric's faded and the record is a record of failed leadership. And what the country has to do now is have an honest conversation about these big issues facing our nation and how we're going to solve them. And Paul Ryan is a serious, policy-oriented guy who I think is going to help us elevate that discussion with the voters in the last couple of months of the campaign. So I don't think Governor Romney could have made a better pick.
Virginia Lieutenant Governor Bill Bolling, thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.